So you went, in 1 week's time, you went from you have the next fight with Max to Max is going to fight Khabib to Max isn't fighting Khabib and it's Max and Brian again. You want to tell us a little bit about how that week went for you?
Up and down. New York was crazy, especially, yeah, well, the whole taking the fight on short notice, and then from then to having Max take it, and then trying to see like, well, what's gonna happen with my fight with him now. Then to Conor throwing some over through the bus, and then just all this stuff that happened. It was just a crazy week, but all I know is Thursday night, I figured I wasn't gonna get the call for Khabib anymore, and I decided to go to Junior's and have some cheesecake, and
so good.
Yeah, it was so good. And just like, you know what, this whole week's been crazy. Let me just enjoy a little cheesecake and watch the fights then. And that was it, you know. And then now we're back to fighting each other, and that's it.
Now, were you thinking like when Max was going to be fighting Khabib, were you thinking like, hey, I might have to take another fight in the interim just because of the timing, or were you willing to wait, or what were you thinking during that week?
Well, I said, you know what, if Max is healthy enough to take a fight against Khabib, he's healthy enough to take a fight against me now. And then soon after that, we got the call and we signed the contract and we made it happen for July 7th.
How close were you to getting that fight with Khabib? Like, were you actually on standby?
If Max would have not accepted the fight, I would have fought Khabib.
Were you already like kind of thinking about that fight and how it could go?
No, you know what? That wasn't even in my. You know, the way I looked at it was like I can enjoy some food now because I won't get no more short notice calls. Because Frankie was a short notice call. I said I'm not gonna get a short notice call anymore. Like that's it. It's gonna be Max and myself when they let me know that Max's foot is healed up, then, you know, I'll get ready for a camp. And then I got the call from Dana. It was like, hey, happy Easter. And I'm like, what's going on? And then he was like, hey, man, Ferguson pulled out. Will you fight Khabib? I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, you know, because a lot of people obviously don't want to fight Khabib on 1 week notice. But yeah, I accepted the fight. And he said, Max Holloway, I did call Max Holloway, he hasn't got back to me yet. If he says yes, because he's champion, he has a priority. And I said, that's fine. In my head, I go, well, his foot's injured, so he's not going to say yes. And then he said yes, and I was like, but everything played out how I did, you know?
And then when Max couldn't make weight that Friday,
I decided to eat cheesecake Thursday night, so I was. But
so Junior's not.
Yeah, I just decided if they're not calling me by now, the fight's happening. You know, like they're gonna have to make weight from 9 to 11. So it was like 2 o'clock in the morning when I decided to go to Junior's. So yeah.
I'm sorry, Karyn. So were you like bummed out when you heard that Max couldn't make weight? Were you like, I shouldn't have had the raspberry on that cheesecake last night?
It would have been too much weight to try to cut in 2 hours anyways, you know? That's why I said I gave myself till Thursday night. If I didn't get the call, I go, okay, now I can just enjoy my food and that's it, and watch the fight.
Do you like the idea of being part of International Fight Week, though? I mean, you're such a low-key guy, and it's the most, you know, the most media, the most everything of the year. So how do you kind of put those two things together for your own head?
To me, all this is new.
Yeah.
Media, everything. But it's getting more and more. I'm getting used to it more and more, you know? And obviously, if I'm going to make a name for myself in this game, I need the most eyes on me. And if I'm not going to talk like the rest of the world and say stupid and nonsense things, I might as well just showcase my work in the cage. And that's what I'm doing, you know? I'm going in there and I'm pretty much fighting where it's all eyes on me, where I can just show the people what I'm about, and I have to talk, and I can just be me, and still I feel like people will respect that.
Question about the fighting. We actually were just talking about this the other day, how you used to kind of be a slower starter. Then you face guys like Cub and Frankie who are higher caliber fighters, and you came out guns a-blazing sooner. So was that something mental for you, that you realized these are different kinds of guys, no disrespect to former opponents? Or has something just changed in your mentality, your preparation, or something?
I have no idea. The way I look at it is I see every opponent the same. I train hard. For me, I feel like I've just been training so hard now that that's just how I'm starting, you know. And I feel like other fights I was a little bit more hesitant, as in terms of trying to figure out my opponent. I was letting them dictate the fight, and I was kind of like seeing what I can use to that. Now I'm just going in there and I'm doing my fight, you know. And it's just like I don't care anymore, I guess, you know. Like, I don't care what happens anymore. I don't care how it goes. For me, it's just train hard, go in there and just give it your all. And that changed everything. It made me from caring about the fight and the outcome to finishing third round, and then to not caring at all, and then finishing Cub, and to really not caring at all, and then going after Frankie, and then that was it.
Well,
the less I care, the faster I win.
And everybody cared when you did that to Frankie. Like, I mean, do you realize? I'm sure you do at this point now. Like, how big a deal that was to be the first one to finish him, and the fact that a jiu-jitsu guy finished him. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of blew a lot of people's minds.
I don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I'm happy I made some kind of history again. Yeah. You know, because I had the history for the longest third round finishes. Yeah. Which was like, all right, you have something in the books, but it's not like what you want.
Right.
And doing that to Frankie, I felt like I earned a lot more respect from people after that fight. And for me, that's all I needed, you know, and I liked it. But yeah, I mean, Frankie's a tough guy, and you know.
But you used to be able to kind of fly under the radar a little more.
Yeah, I
was.
Like,
it was kind of like, oh, I heard that T-City guy's pretty good. And now that's gone. Like, you're not under the radar anymore. Like, you got lazy, you know, it's all on you. So, and if you beat Max, you know, even more so. So, Are you going to be able to, I don't know. I mean, you do seem to keep it real.
I'm always laid back. I'm always laid back, trust me. Obviously, it comes with the territory, right? More, you have a target on your back. If you know, if I'm successful on July 7th, even if not, it's still a target on your back because I'm ranked right there with the best of the featherweights. But there's certain things that come with the belt. Everyone says it. There's more media. There's just more things that you have to do now, you know. And challenge accepted. You know, like for me, it's always, if I don't know what something's about, let me try it. Let me see what it is, and then I'll figure out the rest then and there. You know, I don't think you can mentally prep for something like that. I don't know what I can tell myself. Like, you can do more media, sit in the mirror and start practicing. Like, you know, there's things you have to just live it and go through it, and if I become successful, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Brian, even the way you entered here, you kind of walked in with your corner wearing the team sweats. Ed kind of gave you a look, almost like you're going with a cage and you're coming just to talk to the media. What's been the next evolution of this camp compared to the other ones now that you're fighting for the title, and you know, having that guidance from guys like, you know, Ed and also the Gracies?
Well, the guidance comes from James Larson and Hannah Gracie. Ed's my manager. You know, I want to give credit to where credit's due. But everything's the same. Nothing's changed. That's what I love about it, because we're at the highest point in my career, and we're just the same. I was just surfing the other day. Maybe 2 days ago, I was on a boat jumping off the top, doing backflips. Like, nothing's changed in terms of that. The training has got harder. I've put in a lot more rounds in now, and it is true what they say: the harder you train, the easier the fight. And lately, that's kind of been the case for me, and that's how my fights just played out. So, as in terms of guidance, I mean, I always have a good head on my shoulders, and I have good people behind me to kind of just slap my head into place whenever I try to, you know, kind of just venture off on my own. Because till then, it was just Jose Aldo reigning over everything, and although you knew Aldo was going to fight someone, it didn't bring much attention till Conor challenged him. Then that fight was huge, and then since then there hasn't really been too much hype besides Max beating Aldo. Then it regained its sting, and now this is to date the biggest featherweight fight since that day.
Brian, you said seems the less you care, the quicker you finish fights. What is your level of caring right now going into this fight?
I don't care. I'm just happy. I'm happy that all my hard work is finally showing. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to, man, for me, I'm out the hood, you know, like, I'm happy I'm not getting in trouble anymore. I'm happy I'm doing good things, and that's it, you know, like, I'm just living a clean and healthy life now. So I'm happy regardless, you know. What
about your hood? You guys in the gym, in the garage, like, you know what I'm gonna ask, like, what, I don't know what kind of neighbors you have and stuff.
We run the block.
That's what I was asking. That's what I'm asking. What kind of response do you get from that?
We run the block. There's been one neighbor that tried to file some complaint,
like
some complaint, you know, and some stuff, but he lost in court, and yeah, but yeah, like, yeah, we run the block. Okay. But the neighbors are all cool except for like one.
Yeah.
The neighbors are all good. They understand what we're doing, you know. They know, like, from this time to this time, these guys have their music on, but it's a bunch of monsters in there working out. So just pass by, say hi, and around 3 o'clock, the noise shuts down. Yeah. But that's it. Yeah.
Well, also they should look to the other things that you're doing. So let's talk about, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is obviously a name that now people associate with you. So what was that like when you guys first met, or when you first heard that he even wanted to be involved with what you're doing?
I got a call. I feel like it's the first time I'm gonna actually mention it with cameras, but they're saying RDJ, and they kept saying this RDJ. I'm like, who's RDJ? And they're like, Robert Downey Jr. I'm like, who's Robert Downey Jr.? I know. I didn't want to say this, but I'll say it now. And I really didn't understand, you know, because I barely follow sports and TV in general, you know, that's why. And then they said, hey, RDJ is gonna FaceTime you. And I was like, okay. So I'm like, I'm gonna finally find out who this is.
Oh my God.
And I get the FaceTime, I'm like, holy shit, this Iron Man. I was like, Iron Man's, and I like played it cool on the outside. I'm like, oh, hey bro, we're working out. And I looked at my coach, I'm like, I gotta go to the car. Like, Iron Man's on the phone right now, Tony Stark.
Oh my God.
And then I got on the phone and we started talking, and he was one of the most realest people I've ever met. He was talking about, he asked me where I lived and everything. I go, yeah, I'm in Carson. And he goes, oh, no way. Like, told me some stuff. Like, he was like, yeah, I've been to Carson Station before I went to Twin Towers, you know, and before he got locked up. And I was like, no way, I have too. And like, and we kind of bonded over that situation, you know, and it was just cool, you know, to see someone at that level just be so real and say, yeah, that's what, almost like the homies from the hood, like, yeah, I've been locked up there, yeah, I did this, like, oh, what station were you at, you know, before you got sent to Twin Towers, like, so, you know, for me, it was like, it was easy to bond with, and after that, we just kind of set up a relationship, and he just texts me, and I text him, and actually someone just texted me right now about him, yeah.
Really?
But yeah, he's cool, man.
Yeah.
What was his interest in you? Like, why did he want to reach out?
So, in the Cub fight, I said, I want to get people's attention. After the Frankie fight, I did the same thing, and I finally got someone's attention. And not only that, I feel like he feels me from how I grew up, and because I didn't realize, but he's been through way ups and downs as well, worse than I have. And I feel like he's seen a little bit of that in me, and he knows that I want to help people, and he decided to help me help people, which is what I wanted, to people such as Robert Downey Jr. and other people, to just reach out and say, hey bro, what can I do to help you help people? And he invited me he did something with the Avengers movie premiere, and then from there we went to, he invited me to the movie premiere as well, and you know, from UFC to red carpet Hollywood, it was something different, and I loved it, and you know, it was amazing for him to do that, you know, through what he did with those posts that he did in the I don't know if it was a raffle or something exactly. He raised $50,000. So that's something amazing that he's done, and now with that, we're gonna help so much people with the T-City scholarships. So many kids are gonna do things that they love now, whether it's training, art, basketball. I'm gonna give on full T-City scholarships to those kids, and it couldn't have been possible through that help and the help of others as well, you know. So far, the foundation is just going through the roof, and and the success is, you know, I thought it was going to be a good turnout, but it's turning out faster than what I prepared it to be. And now I can't wait to get this fight done so I can go back to work and start helping people.
Can you explain how tough it was going on, you know, in the projects and San Pedro and everything?
It wasn't, how do I say, tough. I didn't understand what it was. To me, that was my environment.
Right.
There was no other, you know, it wasn't until later that I started talking to other people and seeing the way they were raised. I go, I don't fit in these conversations. And I started realizing, you know, my upbringing was a bit different. But for me, it was always survive. It was always, you know, learn, you know, it was survival. You know, learn where not to be at so you don't get shot. Learn where not to walk at so you don't get jumped. Learn who to stand up to, who not to stand up to. There's just all these rules that go in that environment, you know. And then finally, when I got old enough to get a chip on my shoulders, then I wanted it to be the dog, you know. I wanted to be the alpha. I wanted to put in my work in, and that put me in trouble, you know. And even though I have my dad backing me up and always loving and supporting me, you know, there's things that, you know, he's like, I can't control my son anymore. But that was, you know, I don't know what else to say without really incriminating myself, you know.
What are some of like I mean, you said you had that conversation where you didn't really feel like you fit in. What were some things they were saying in that conversation there that you were like, wait, hold on, what are you guys even talking about?
Family, like a family dinner. Everyone's sitting down, a family having dinner together at a table. It's never happened to me. So when I sat there with the family and they're sitting down, they're having dinner, I was like, geez, you guys don't have to do this for me. And they're like, no, we do this every dinner. And I was like, whoa. You know, I'm not saying my parents were bad. When I say these things, I'm just saying they were busy. You know, they had to work. They had to do their things to keep us afloat. So we didn't have that luxury, you know, to actually, all of us had to sit down and, you know, my house was a revolving door. You walk in, you walk out, you get whatever you can eat, you leave, you go hang out with friends. I'm on my mission, my sister's on the other mission. My dad's working, trying to provide, my mom's doing the same thing. And somehow we're all still coexisting with each other. And my household always had at least like 14 people in it. So, in one bathroom. So I didn't really want to be home, you know, because it was just my aunts there, my cousins, just so many people are there that I'd rather be out hanging out with my friends in the street or doing something besides being there and fighting my own family members, you know. But
it's a bit of a hard time right now for Mexican immigrants, for Mexican Americans. Every day on the news there's something else going on. How is that affecting you as a Mexican American?
I just seen a video the other day where it was some lady, the guy Wolf posted it up. And it was like some lady flipping off a Mexican guy, and she's flipping him off, and he's saying, "What did I do to you?" And she goes, "You've seen it, right?"
Yeah,
she goes,
he's like, "What drugs did I sell?"
Well, she's like, "You're a drug dealer and you're a rapist," and the guy's working, and he's saying, "Who have I raped? What guns am I, or what drugs am I selling?" And then she's like, "You're fucking Mexican. That's why." And to see that level of ignorance, you know, I was just like, wow, really? Like, you know, you always hear about it, but when you really, you know, when someone films it and you see it, it just gets under my skin a little bit, and there's nothing I can do, you know, like, what can I do, you know? I can't go to that lady's house and try to convince her otherwise, you know. She said in her mind, the only thing I could come up with was she was born in a different generation. I don't know, you know. I would just say ignore them, you know. Better one crazy than two crazies, you know.
You have a platform now, obviously, and you know, you win a title in the UFC. That's a really big deal. Is that something that you're also thinking about? Because I know you want to help kids and you're doing a lot for that, but also just to show people, like, hey, you know, I'm a Mexican American. I'm not what other people, you know, say.
Yeah. Well, I was blessed to be able to be born here. Both my parents had to go through that. My dad illegally went through the border. and was living under a bridge, was homeless. People were making fun of him, beating him up, all kinds of things. Then my mom, after he kind of figured out the situation, he brought my mom over. And my dad lived in an apartment in Wilmington with 15 or 10 guys in one apartment. And then my mom did the same thing with a bunch of girls. And you know, like the stories they tell me, that's why I'm first generation and I work hard to make them proud. Because I don't want, they came here to sacrifice everything for us. And the way I look at it is, what kind of son would I be if I didn't take full advantage of that, you know? And I was doing bad things where I did see the heartbreak in their faces, and I go, wait a minute. No. You gotta, you know, help them out. You know, you gotta grow up and you gotta do good and you gotta help them out and pretty much they don't have a retirement plan. You know, I have to become successful to help them, to help them, you know, not go back to any kind of struggle. They struggled raising us. The least I can do is give that to them in return, and that's why I want to be successful.
How many hours a day were they working when you were growing up? Just like 18 hours a day, 10.
Dude, my dad, yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Sometimes I would have to go to work and just be like a fly on the wall, you know, and just sit there. And they were just always working. You know, my dad was always working, whether it was at his job or going and then going somewhere else after that, like coming home, eating, scolding us for something that we did, and then going back to his other job. Or, you know, and my mom was always the same thing. She would work all day and then she would be with us during the afternoon. At nighttime, she'd have to go work somewhere else. You know, I can't do that. Not that I can't, but I don't want to do that. That's just too many hours, you know, for minimum pay and everything, you know. It sucks. So I can't tilt my hat anymore to them and give them any more respect for what they've done and how they're doing, you know. Even my mom to this day, I put a video today, she slapped the hell out of me in front of all my friends. I posted on social media. It was like a Latin thing, you know, like, because she said, whenever you get your own house, you get your own car, then you can talk however you want to talk. So I did. I got my own place, got my own car, I'm on my own now, and I decided to say the word fuck in front of her. Because I was with my friends, and next, you know, I finished uck, and it was like uck, boom. And I was like, hey, you know, and then she's like, you know, she slapped me. I thought she was joking. And then, so I said it again, and then she really got me good. And like, she popped my mouth to where I was like, I love you. I was like, I'm sorry, I love you. Like, all right. And I was like, she's like, give me that look, you know? Like, I don't care who you are, how old you are. In my presence, you're gonna have respect. And I mean, you know, now she thinks it's cool and funny because the whole world's seeing it. So every time she's seeing me, she's like looking for a reason to slap me. I'm like, chill, dude, the joke's over, you know? Like, but I love it.
Who gets harder, Mexican moms or UFC?
Yeah, right.
She for sure busted my lip. Some fights I leave unscathed, you know? So she gave me my first L.
There you go.
UFC record, undefeated, but on the street, you know, mama whoops my ass every time.
Right. You do your jiu-jitsu with Henner, and then you kind of do your striking by yourself. You're not really, like, does being part of a big camp, like a lot of people are with a bunch, that doesn't really appeal to you, does it? Because you kind of do your own thing.
You know, like the checklist works well with others. Mine does not work well with others. I've tried the whole gym where there's a bunch of fighters and we're all sparring and training, and there's a lot of ego. Everyone wants to be the top dog, and when you spar, you know, it's just, I'm trying to work and they're trying to really fight me, and I'm trying to explain we don't get paid here, we get paid in the cage. I need to make it there safe. And it just came to the point before where we'd end up pretty much, instead of training to learn, we're actually fighting each other and we're trying to kill each other, and then one ego sparks the other, and then the gloves come off, and then it's like, does not work well with others, you know. And then I just realized I'm just gonna do my own thing. You know, that's it. Just do my own thing, you know, and train with people who have no ego, who really are there to grow. And they say iron sharpens iron, but there's a smart way of doing so. You know, not banging each other up during training camp to try to prove one point, you know, to another, and then you're in that environment, and you do it with another guy, and then you do it, you know. I just didn't like that environment, so I created my own.
Do you think there's an element to your jiu-jitsu that no one's ever seen and that Max is unprepared for, no matter how much he trains with jiu-jitsu guys?
I mean, submissions are submissions, jiu-jitsu. I don't know, man. I just do my training, and I sharpen up my sword, and then when I get there, I get to finally see how sharp it is against my opponent. You know, whether it's a Cub Swanson fight where I land a submission, or a Frankie Edgar fight where I land like a KO. I'm just working on me. I don't really care too much what they're doing. You know, I just want to get to the day of the fight as sharp as I can be, and whatever happens, I did all I can. And that's it, you know? I just want to leave the octagon happy, no matter what the outcome is. And that's what I'm doing by training this hard and kind of creating my own environment where I work in a smart way and just train that way.
When you look at Max, obviously he's very good. He's on a 12-fight win streak. He's long. He's a great boxer. He's got this, he's got that. So how do you beat him? Where's his holes?
I don't know. No, I mean, obviously we're training, right? And we're doing our things, but it's something, how do I explain this? When I'm in there, then I can figure out the holes. You know, I gotta feel how hard his hits are. I gotta feel how he's hitting. I gotta feel how he's moving. I gotta be in there with the guy. Once I'm in there with him, then I can start analyzing and seeing how I'm going to finish him. Every fight, I've done it with every fighter, you know. I don't really have a game plan going in there. I just go in there, I fight the guy, and that's it. You know, I'm going to make something happen. It's like, and I've been saying this whole morning, it's like if you tell me I have to get to that wall, like the name of the game is touch that wall, and there's 6 people in front of you, like I'm going to touch the wall. Yeah. I don't care how ugly or pretty it is. Even if I got to cut my arm up and throw it at the wall and say I win, right, I'm going to do it. You know, and that's just always been my approach, my mentality. And you know, when I go in there, obviously I got heart, I got a chin, and I just have the will to want to win. You know, to not want to score points, to not play pity pat, to go in there and either bang it out or slug it out or go on the ground, whichever way it goes. I'm at the point in my career where I'm happy both ways, and both ways are getting, you know, they're getting sharpened day by every time I train. So for me, it's just keep training, keep sharpening up these swords, and when you go in there, I notice the difference against my opponents. And with Max, it's the ultimate test. He's the champ. He's got, like you said, he's tall, he's lengthy, he's a stand-up guy. He got great takedown defense. That's what I need. You know, I need someone who's going to test me, not someone who's going to be an easy fight. If I want an easy fight, I go back to amateurs. You know.
You mentioned that you were looking for someone who's your equal. I think that's something that you said after you beat Conor last year. At what point do you think maybe you'll never find an equal in the UFC, and it may come in another part of your life, like in your philanthropy?
Yeah, it's a good one. I think Max is my equal. We're both tall, young, hungry, 2 young lions, you know? This is, I feel like, the closest I'm going to get to my equal. He's at the top of his game, I'm at the top of mine. And yeah, if it's not my equal, then, you know, I don't know. We'll see.
And then, you know, you've mentioned a couple times seeing the disappointment in your parents, where things completely shifted over for you to sort of, you know, funnel everything through this optimistic and positive energy and life.
Yeah. So there was a time where I feel like this is the one that hits me the most, because it was a time where it finally really sank in there, and I kind of realized what was going on and what was the toll that it was taking on my family. It was, I was out on bail, just got out of jail. My sister was on drugs. She was a meth addict, and my other sister was an alcoholic. And I got out of. My mom bailed me out, and I took a cruise on the car. And you know when you see those, you know when you see people talking to themselves, and you go, oh, I feel sorry for that person, you know. While I'm driving and I see that person was my sister. So I dragged her in the car, took her home. Rough ride, you know, because I had a stick shift and I had to try to keep her from jumping out the car. And I got her home and I was supposed to babysit her, make sure she doesn't try to escape while we try to find something for her. And I was maybe like on the third day of taking care of her, and I'm tired, and I'm just, you know, she keeps trying to make all these escapes for her. She's hitting me, she's saying all these things to me. And I slip up, I fall asleep. And she makes her way around me, and then I chase her and I grab her, and she starts scratching me and hitting me. And then I got so mad that I put her against the wall and started kind of choking her. And then my other sister comes behind me and starts choking me. And you got these three fuck-ups, you know, fighting each other. And then I look over and I see my mom's face, and she's crying, and she's like, what, you know, like, what did I do in my life to deserve this? And yeah, ever since then it just kind of stuck with me. Yeah.
You have 2 boys of your own.
Yep.
So how have you taken your experience and you know, tried to right the wrongs with them, or correct, you know, behavior to make sure that
they don't see nothing like that. Yeah, they're well taken care of. They're not around bad people. They're not around bad energy, and I'm looking out for them. You know, like when they grow up, they're gonna see why I'm gone all the time. But you know, I gotta make my sacrifice to give them the life that I didn't have and the life that I wanted, and also teach them how to have respect and not be spoiled, you know. Teach them how to earn their keep in this world. And through the people that have guided me in my life and gave me all the advice that I feel people need, that's what I'm gonna give to them.
Which one's got a better triangle?
The eldest.
Yeah.
The eldest is like tall and lengthy. Yeah. He trains jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And the youngest one is just like a little animal, you know? He's like, they're both crazy, you know? Like,
one's your kids, Brian.
Yeah, they're my kids, but yeah, one's like an angel, though, you know? He's like, he'll come up right now and he'll dance in front of us and he'll love it. And the other one is, he'll just look at you guys and study you guys and kind of hide in the corner and just kind of look at like, who are these guys? You know? So you can see the change and the difference in their personalities, but yeah.
But I'm guessing it's important to you that they're doing martial arts, yeah.
Yeah. The youngest is not, but he can still beat up the eldest. You're like,
there you go. You
get him fired up, and that guy turns. We call him the Hulk. Yeah. You know, because he's like, he just gets angry and just kind of, when he wants to, he'll toss the older brother up. Yeah.
So now the Hulk knows that you know Iron Man.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, they know, they love Iron Man. What was a movie we just recently watched the other day? Was The Incredibles.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
That's
such a good movie. Yeah. So I enjoyed my time with them on a Sunday. Got to see them, and yeah, we took them out to go see The Incredibles.